We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
All right, so welcome everybody. We would like to start with the last unit of our subject, Control of Electrical Drives, that is titled as Application of Electrical Drives. So here in this chapter, we are going to discuss about Introduction to Solar and Battery Powered Drives, Introduction to Traction Drives, and Servo Motor Drive Requirements, Control and their Implementation. This is a huge topic. Application of electrical drive is a huge topic. So this is just an overview so far as your syllabus is concerned. For the details, you can always refer to the further content, or you will have one more special elective in the coming semesters. So we'll start with the battery electric vehicles, or battery powered vehicles, what you call it. So this is how a normal battery powered vehicle looks like. There are many varieties, but a common configuration is there in front of you on the screen. This is basically the battery, and this battery is powering this motor. At present, it is shown to be a 3-phase AC motor, and a converter is there so that it converts battery DC into appropriate voltage frequency supply and runs this motor. This is a gear transmission because motor runs at a high speed, RPM is more, and drive, that is wheels cannot be the RPM of the wheels or axle are lesser. So you require a speed reduction gears. Generally, speed reduction is from 10 to 1. So 1/10 of speed you are running the motor, right? So this is the configuration. This is a differential. Differential, as you all know, is the device when there is a turning of the wheels or drive. Then one wheel needs to move more, and the other needs to move less. The one which is on the further side, which is making a bigger arc, has to travel more, and the other one has to travel less. And at that time, these two need to have a different speed, otherwise the car will skid. So differential is there. But anyway, so this is the basic electric vehicle. So what is there? A battery is there, converter is there, motor is there, and then it is having different gears and then differential. And these are the wheels and axle. Now this battery needs to be charged. So for that, a charger arrangement is there, and this is the arrangement through which you can charge from the grid, right? So this is a typical battery electric vehicles. This is basically, I have taken this figure from the SWAYAM course which I am taking on from the course is by Professor Amit Kumar Jain from IIT Delhi. It is on the SWAYAM portal, swayam.gov.in. If you are interested, go for this course. It is a very useful course for the students who are interested in electrical drives or electric vehicles. So let's go to the next slide. So what is the battery vehicles, or EVs popularly known as? So battery powered vehicles are those popularly known as electric vehicles. The advantages of electric vehicles over the IC engine vehicles are they have less pollution. The electric vehicle itself is a very big topic, but we'll basically have a overview of the subject. It's a very quieter operation compared to diesel or petrol in cars. It's very quiet. Almost zero maintenance because you don't have a lot of mechanical items over here. There is only electric motors, which you already know. If it is a 3-phase induction motor, does not require much maintenance. So very less maintenance compared to petrol or diesel vehicles. it is more reliable because there are lesser parts, so there are chances of failure are also less. So it is very, very reliable compared to IC engines or that means the petrol or diesel cars. It is having better driving performance, very smooth control. So uh, within no time, it can accelerate to very high speeds, and there is a very fine operation. So you get a good feeling, excellent feeling while you are driving this electric vehicles. Higher fuel economy, almost very cheap compared to petrol or diesel vehicles. And this is the best part. It can recover energy during braking. So whenever you have your car is braking, that means you are stopping or you are moving downwards the slope. Then at time excess energy is available, so that can be recovered and it can be used to charge the batteries. So you are recovering the energy during braking. So ultimately, overall, your fuel economy also increases. So these are the advantages because of which the future is very, very bright for electric vehicles. Can be charged by renewable energy. So if that is the option which we exercise in future, that means the whole transportation sector is now removing all the emissions. So it will be zero emission vehicle, and to have to charge these vehicles also will not be using some thermal power plant or gas turbine or steam turbine. Will be using renewable also. So for that also there is no emission. So that is the ultimate aim which we have for our future electric cars. Disadvantages are also there because you don't see much electric cars these days on the roads, and disadvantages are very high capital cost. You know, the latest car which is there, that means the normal luxury category electric car which we have is not less than 15 to 16 lakhs. The other thing is that it is having limited range. You need to charge it for every, say, 200 kilometers or so. It depends. It varies car to car. But still, after there's always a pressure of batteries getting discharged, and you do not have much charging options. So charging station infrastructures are insufficient at present. Government is working on it, but at present that is also a challenge. Replacement of battery after a few years. So capital cost is high, and battery, which is a very costly item over here, it also has a limited area. Of course, research is going on so that your battery is of lesser weight, lesser cost, and it lasts long. But at present, you need to replace battery after a few years, right? So these are the disadvantages of a particular electric vehicles. Now, what are the types of electric vehicles? There's a large variety, a huge subject is there, but in a nutshell, what are the types which are there, which we'll see over here. So you can see electric vehicles can be classified into two categories: pure electric vehicles and hybrid electric vehicles. Pure electric vehicles are having battery electric vehicles where only batteries are there. Fuel cell electric vehicles where a fuel cell is used to produce electricity and then it runs through motor. Then you have ultra capacitor electric vehicles. So here batteries are also having batteries plus ultra capacitors are there, and they are run by electric motor. This is ultra flywheel electric vehicles. So ultra flywheels are there with the batteries, and they are used to run the electric motor. So these are all pure electric vehicles. Now, during these particular past few years, pure electric vehicles were challenging. So people thought, why not to slowly go from internal combustion engines to electric engines. So they started developing hybrid vehicles. Hybrid means they have a part of mechanical energy produced by IC engine and part of produced by the batteries and electric motors, right? So a conventional HEVs are there where the engine was heavy and motor part was just to supplement or to increase the efficiency. So the majority of mechanical energy or motion was provided by internal combustion engines, petrol or diesel engines. While in gridable HEV is that you have engine lesser powerful and more powerful batteries and a motor propulsion system is there, right? So conventional hybrid were started with the micro hybrid, then mild hybrid and full hybrid. Micro hybrid were having, or rather are having, a very small battery and a very small motor. Here main objective is that whenever you start stop the engine at that time, that is whenever you brake, the batteries and motor they take charge, engine is turned off. So there are a lot of losses when you start stop the engine, right? So idling the engine. So when you are idling the engine, that means it is running but there is no motion. At that time lot of losses are there that you would like to recover, and at that time the motor is on batteries and that is the car is on batteries and electric motors. The moment you press a pedal on accelerator, engine again starts, and motor has to be now it is basically used to charge the batteries. Mild hybrid is the one which is having slightly better features, and here the uh, batteries and motor are of slightly higher capacity. Full hybrid is having again further capacity. That means here further engines are little of lesser capacity, and batteries and motor are of further more capacity. While here in plug-in hybrid vehicles are the ones in which you can externally charge the batteries. In these categories, you cannot charge externally batteries. They are getting charged by internal combustion engine when the car is running. At that time, an alternator is there which is used to charge the batteries. While in plug-in hybrid vehicles, you basically use the extra charging. So here, the engine part is not dominant, and engine is used just in case you run out of battery. So at that time, engine is used to help you reach the nearest charging station. And range extended REVs are also of the same category, where basically you would like to extend the range of electric vehicles with the help of IC engines, right? So these are the types of electric vehicles we have. Electric vehicles in itself is a big subject, but we are going to discuss it up to this particular point only, right? You can use a wide variety of motors for the electric vehicles, but at present, three-phase induction motor is the common popular motor which is used for the electric vehicles also, right? Now the next is solar powered electric drive. So solar powered electric drive, basically, as the word goes, you have a solar panel, that is solar cell, which is converting solar energy into electric. One cell is not giving you sufficient voltage, so many such cells are connected in series, and for increasing current capacity they are connected in parallel. So you have a series parallel combination of number of cells known as solar panel, and this solar panel is giving you required DC voltage, and from that DC you can run a drive. Generally these are solar power drives are very popular these days in agricultural application as solar pumps, right? So this is a typical block diagram or a circuit of a solar power drive where you are running a pump with a DC motor. So solar pump drive employing permanent magnet DC motor is shown over here, and the problem over here is that this solar panel voltage keeps on varying, or power keeps on varying based on the temperature and sunlight. So you need to track it, and there's a algorithm known as maximum power point tracking, MPPT, with which we need to change. You need to have a buck boost converter with which we change the value of voltage and current such that you have optimum power for it. So that is a control requirement of it, but that is the control part of the solar power drives. This is how a control of solar power drive is there. So this is a pump. Pump is run by a motor. At present, this is a DC motor which we have assumed. So DC motor is controlled by a chopper, and chopper is controlled by a duty cycle ratio, and maximum power tracker, which I have already talked about. So this basically gives you the maximum power, and based on the requirement of speed, you generate a required output voltage through chopper by controlling this chopper with the help of the duty cycles delta, right? So this is how you can control the solar power pumps, solar power drives. If you have induction motor over here, then you require inverter, because whatever energy is or whatever output is available from solar panel is DC. So you require a PWM inverter to convert it into variable voltage, variable frequency. Then it is used to run the induction motor, which drives the pump. And this MPPT and V by F control is by the controller action, right? So this is about the solar power drive. So in short, whether it is a battery operated drives or solar operated drives, whatever source of energy is there, after that you have a power modulator, which can be either a PWM inverter or chopper, depending on whether the motor is DC or AC, right? In addition, solar drives are having MPPT tracking, and there are a lot of algorithms available which can have this MPPT power tracking, right? So I think this is all for this chapter today. We are going to continue about this chapter, and tomorrow most probably we'll discuss about the traction drive applications and servo applications drives. So this is unit number 6 and last unit. Once we finish this unit, we'll start with the miscellaneous topics which were not discussed in detail during our regular theory classes, right? So that's all from my side today. And now I'm going to unmute you. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Do you have any questions, friends? All right. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for, and continue the same time tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Bye.